What's up, everybody? Shauna D Man here, and welcome back. Hope you guys are doing great. Hope you guys had yourselves a great weekend. We are back after another loss by the Auburn Tigers, falling to Missouri 23-17 Saturday night in Jordan-Hare Stadium, which makes Auburn now 3-4 and 0-4 in the SEC. And listen, like this was I picked Auburn to win the game on I believe Thursdays when I did my preview of it, and their opening script looked good, but then it just went haywire from there. I mean, first off, give credit to Missouri for getting the win. Credits to them. Like again, it's just something I have said throughout these four losses is that compared to Auburn, the teams that Auburn's facing, their coaching staff and to a lesser extent players always seem to make the plays when it matters. Meanwhile, Auburn always collapses at the most critical moments in the football game. Like Auburn was doing they look fine. They may play I don't think Jackson Arnold does get some blame in some instances in the game, but he played, I thought, from a passing standpoint, a lot better than what we have seen from him. Now he was about 60, I believe 60% completion, but I thought from a passing standpoint, he did a lot better than what we saw the previous weeks. Now he did throw his first interception, which that whole thing is so the previous play before that, Jackson throws a good accurate ball to Cam Coleman that more than likely would have been a touchdown. But Cam Coleman drops it. And then the next play, it turns into an interception. Uh, it's insane. What defense does get credit for doing everything they can to keep Auburn in the game, but they also deserve some criticism too because the touchdown that Missouri ultimately took to tie up the game was because of two. I mean, obviously they gave up a touchdown, but also because they committed back-to-back 15-yard penalties, which moved the ball 30 yards from Missouri, and Missouri made the plays when it mattered. To number one, tie up the game, and then number two, in overtime, Auburn has Missouri like a 3rd and 11. They allow, you know, Bo Pabula to score a touchdown. Now, ultimately, they didn't get the 2-point conversion, but that's all Missouri needed. And then on the Auburn side of things, they looked good moving the ball at times. They had two very long drives in the second half. I think one was like a 75-yard, and the other was maybe like an 80-yard. Like they were moving the ball. Jackson Arnold actually made some pretty good plays. There was one where it looked like it was going to be a sack, but he somehow gets out of it and is able to I don't know if he was trying to just throw it away, or he saw Perry Thompson last second and he was able to get the ball to Perry Thompson and Perry takes it off. Now, if maybe if it was a bit faster receiver, then maybe that could have gone a lot more and maybe even for a touchdown. But that's beside the point. He was able to get it out to Perry Thompson um, to continue to drive, and he threw some nice deep balls to Cam Coleman as well. And so, but what hurt Auburn is you miss some chances for some touchdowns to really blow this game away. And then you have Alex McPherson miss two chip shot field goals. One was like a 30-yarder, the other was like a 40-yarder. No, I'm sorry, I'm thinking. He had three, right? He had three field goals. He made one. I remember. Let me. I got to pull it up. I'm trying to remember how many field goal attempts he had. I know he missed two. Um, Let me see. Mm, I guess we could pull up the stats too while we're at it. Honestly, let's see. So he was 1 for 4. He was 1 for 4 in the game. Yeah, 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 yeah. That was like he didn't he missed some chip shots and it just did not look good. I don't know why they trot him out. Now Hugh Freeze says that Alex had been making him in practice. That's one thing, but like in this game, like you making some of these field goals wins you the game, and you don't have to go into overtime against Missouri. And it's just like it's so crazy. You won a turnover battle. You got 2 interceptions. Um, Jeremiah Cobb had himself a pretty good game. 19 carries for 111 yards. Omar Mapson, his 1 carry got him a touchdown. Um, I don't like how they're using Michael Simmons at the moment. Like just like a gadget kind of wide receiver. I don't really I don't really care for that as much. But I mean, receiving wise, Cam Coleman 6 receptions, 108 yards. Perry Thompson 4 for 60. Eric Singleton 6 for 32. Like it honestly should be more receptions. Like you only had Preston Howard dropping a an easy first down. Now, to be fair, I think the one he dropped was also a an offensive holding, so that probably would have been negated anyway. But still, it was an easy thing to catch, and it was just like ridiculous that I didn't catch it. But like stats wise, I mean, both teams weren't that great on third down. Auburn was 6 of 16. Missouri was 8 of 17. Both had over 340 yards of offense. Both 200 yards of passing. Auburn, 150 yards rushing. You were able to keep Ahmad Hardy like 58 yards rushing. So I mean that you did relatively good there. Auburn's been relatively good at stopping the opponent's like run game for the most part, other than Texas A&M. Penalties. You were fine in that position, like 440. Time of possession, Missouri, you know, 32 minutes for Missouri, 27 for Auburn. But there was like a moment where Missouri had like uh, a 12-minute advantage in time of possession over Auburn. And I don't know where you go from here when it comes. Here's the worrisome part. Okay, 'cause here's the worrisome part. At the beginning of the season, everybody thought, obviously, your 3 toughest games were going to be Missouri. I'm sorry, no, A&M, Oklahoma, Georgia, and then the rest leading up to Alabama would be pretty much a cakewalk. But that's not the case anymore. You just saw Arkansas score 40 points on Texas A&M's defense, and then Vanderbilt. They're good. Kentucky went into overtime and hung around with Texas. I mean, you can beat Mercer, and then obviously Alabama's looking like their old self, and so like now you're looking at a situation where you kind of needed this game to even have a potential to make a bowl game. There's a good opportunity that Auburn could lose to. Be quite honest, they could lose to Vanderbilt and Arkansas. There is a good possibility you're going into Kentucky 3-6, and it's just like I think I'm sure there's conversations. I'm sure there's conversations behind the scenes about this program. Auburn fans have showed out, showed up every single year, and they continue to get bad coaching performances or bad team performances. And it's crazy to watch how there just seems to be these moments where this team just does not look prepared. When they need to make plays in critical moments, they don't do it. And it is literally just insane that this happens. So obviously, a lot of Auburn fans they're basically, I guess basically all of them, or maybe not all of them, but a lot of them are just off the Hugh Freeze train. They're done. They gave him 3 years. We allowed him to like overhaul the talent, which he did. The roster is drastically more talented. Maybe off offensive line is a little bit questionable for the most part because we don't know about Connor Liu. Now Kel Ellis came in and he played admirably for Connor Liu. We don't know the status of him just yet. Tight end. Tight end has been a pretty much a disaster the entire season. Like I don't know why we keep throwing to Preston Howard. He's dropped some balls in critical moments. Like Brandon Frazier is probably more sure-handed than him. Ryan G. Maybe you need to start playing him more. We need a receiving tight end. Play him a little bit more than Preston Howard because Preston Howard is he's not it right now. And then receiver. I mean, it's just like it's all just a mess right now. It's just all just a jumbled mess, and Auburn fans don't know what to make of it. So a lot of people probably thought he was going to be fired this weekend or this past weekend. Um, I there's different schools of thought of what could possibly happen. So they play Arkansas this Saturday. It's 11:45 a.m. kickoff. If he wins that game, then obviously he's fine. Whatever. If he loses that game, however, I am curious on if they will pull the trigger. Because at that point, you're 3-5, five straight SEC losses. The other option is if he somehow manages, because like he can still go 8-4. I think right now you're probably looking more 7-5. If things go Auburn's way, your worst case scenario, what is it? 3-9 is the worst case. Well, no, 4-8 because you got Mercer. You could go 4-8, 6-6, or 7-5. Auburn's going to land somewhere in that general area, or even 5. I guess I could have said 5. No, that's about right. I think. And so if Hugh somehow is able to pull off wins to get to maybe 6 or 7, I don't think you rule out him being fired, but I also don't rule out the powers that be make drastic changes and tell Hugh that he has to give up play calling. He can no longer call plays. He has to get an actual offensive coordinator to call play because you see it as clear as day. The defensive side of things looks drastically more organized in how they go about stuff on game day compared to the offense. So there's some kind of disconnect that's going on offensively to where they just look unprepared and just they don't function in the critical moments of the game. I don't know what that is. I don't know how you fix that, but you gotta fix that. If Hugh Freeze is able to survive, something's got to change. Now, do I think he survived the season? I don't know. Like I said, if he loses to Arkansas, to be quite honest, all bets are off. I think you let him go if he loses to Arkansas. I really, really do. Because at that point, because Florida just came open, Penn State's open. So, like, if you want the best coaching option, you're already going to have to compete with Florida and Penn State. Really, Florida will be the main one that you're competing with when it comes to the coaching market. Florida State, that could potentially come open as well. So if you can name Dirk in the interim, but here's another problem. Hugh Freeze is the only one calling plays. Like, who, if you fire Freeze, who do you give play calling to? Ken Austin, Derek Nix? That's another issue that has come up with this decision for Hugh to call plays. It's that situation right there. So there's a lot. There is a lot. There is a lot. I don't know how the rest of the season is going to look. Auburn fans were very optimistic about this season. 8-4, 9-3 were what they were aiming for. I mean, technically you can still do 8-4, but that's your best bet is like I think 7-5. If you can get to 7-5, then I think Hugh is safe, but they're gonna make drastic changes for sure. They're gonna make drastic changes, at least with the at least with the offensive side. Now, whether Durkin stays or not, because again, there's gonna be job opportunities open for Durkin if he wants to be a head coach again. So there's a lot of stuff that's gonna have to be juggled with like the transfer portal, potential of Durkin leaving. So there's a lot of stuff that has to be taken into consideration. Um, but we'll see. We'll see. But that's relatively it. Just want to do a quick little video talking about this, and I will see you guys on either Wednesday or Thursday for the preview for the Arkansas game. But guys, thank you for hanging out. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure you hit that like and subscribe button, comment below, and I will see you in the next video. Y'all have a good one.